I'm Josh Anderson with the Data Project at Easter Seals Crossroads in Indiana. And here's an overview of Modmath.
Some students know how to solve the problems, but they really have trouble communicating their work. So writing the symbol, sharing messy work, or relying on an accommodation like a scribe can actually create barriers for students. So my student Maria was experiencing a lot of these challenges when completing her algebra work, particularly around fractions and exponents. So on paper, Maria struggled to write these symbols. She was also really anxious about turning in work that she knew was messy, and she normally relied on a scribe to complete more complex problems. So these challenges sometimes prevented her from fully demonstrating what she knew. Let's see how Modmath can address this barrier. So I asked Maria to complete the same problem in Modmath here. Using the keypads and index tool, she could enter all the numbers and math symbols accurately without writing them by hand. This really made every step super clear and super legible. Next, Maria used the share feature to generate a PDF of what was on the screen. This produced clean, professional work. She could submit confidently to her teacher, which definitely reduced her anxiety about her handwriting. And then lastly, Modmath's combination of the grid, the auto advance, keypads, and share tools really allowed for that independence that Maria was lacking previously. She didn't need a scribe at this point, and she could complete the problem accurately on her own. I've had many students in my classrooms over the years that had misaligned numbers, illegible handwriting, inconsistent spacing, and difficulty erasing. This is sometimes due to a handwriting difficulty, sometimes some other type of learning difference. My student Luca was given Modmath as an accommodation on his IEP, and Luca needed to solve the equation 98 minus 79. When Luca did this on lined paper, the numbers just weren't lining up correctly, so even the right steps were producing the wrong answer. I asked Luca to write the equation in Modmath, and even if Luca makes a mistake, he doesn't need to deal with erasing it, he can just hit the undo button, so it all remains legible and clean. You can see here in the subtraction example that his numbers are correctly spaced and easy to read. So there's no overlapping numbers. Everything has its own place. Every digit is in the right column. There are built-in guardrails to maintain that proper spacing. For example, the auto advance feature makes it so that each number gets its own grid space. Luca continues to solve the problem, and he uses the line tool to cross out the numbers. The line tool helps prevent misalignment because it's locked to go either vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. So he's easily guided into making a straight line. Lastly, Luca uses the index tool to find the correct placement for the carried and borrowed digits. That index tool is great because it creates the parameters in those small numbers, the borrow and carry digits, so that they're created and placed in the correct subgrid space. So what Modmath is doing essentially is creating restriction in the use of physical space for equation writing, which in turn allows a lot of freedom for students to focus on the mathematical concepts needed to solve the equation.
Well, that's your tech tip for today. I want to say thank you to the Indiana Telephone Relay Access Corporation for sponsoring our captions today. My name is Brian Norton with the Data Project at Easter Seals Crossroads in Indiana.